Newark Mayor Ross Baraka's arrest could shake up the New Jersey's Democratic primary for governor. Baraka is one of 6 Democrats running for governor in New Jersey, and his recent arrest could help win over the party's progressive voters. Tyrone Bowman, live. Let's get down to the bottom of this story. According to NBC News, New York Mayor Ross Baraka's arrest last week at a federal immigration detention facility could shake up the New Jersey's governor's race as Baraka looks to appeal to progressive Democratic voters to win the crowded primary. Baraka is one of 6 Democrats on the June 10th primary ballot, and he has been campaigning for months as an unapologetic progressive, but has been vastly outspent spreading that message on the airwaves. His arrest on Friday at the facility known as Delaney Hall could boost his profile, just as Democratic voters look for a candidate willing to fight President Donald Trump. Quote, "We're fighting to uphold the Constitution of the United States," end quote, Baraka told supporters on a call with a coalition of progressive groups Monday evening. "We're fighting to uphold democracy, that every single person deserves due process," quote, close quote. LeVar Young, who chairs the pro-Baraka super PAC, One New Jersey United, said Baraka's arrest shows there's only been one candidate that's really been putting action behind his words. I think Friday was just really a demonstration of what he's been doing over the last 30, 40 years of his career. Young later added, noting the super PAC expects to launch a digital ad highlighting Baraka's arrest last week, and I hope voters are able to see there's a difference between rhetoric and action, quote, close quote. New Jersey is one of 2 states, along with Virginia, that are holding governor's races this year, which could provide indication about how voters are reacting to Trump's second term. The New Jersey Democratic primary is also one of the party's first significant internal contests following its 2024 loss to Trump, amid its frustrations, deliberations about the party's path forward. The crowded race features Baraka, Representatives Mickey Sherrill and Josh Gothenmeyer, New Jersey City Mayor Steve Fulop, former Montclair Mayor Sean Spiller, and former State Senate President Steve Sweeney. All but Spiller faced off in a debate on Monday night. After the debate, Baraka said his actions at the ICE detention center were an effective way to push back against the Trump administration. Quote, "That's what people need now. They need leadership. They don't need people to acquiesce, to hide in the middle, to run under this veil of 'I'm working with the President of the United States,'" Baraka said. "The reality is we need to protect families. We need to protect immigrants. We need to protect democracy," quote, close quote. While some New Jersey political strategists view Sherrill as a leading candidate, the race is hotly contested. The most recent survey from Reuters, Eagleton Institute of Politics, showed all 6 Democratic primary contenders clustered from 7% to 17% support, and the gap between first place and last place within the poll's margin of error. Baraka's path to victory involves consolidating his party's liberal base and leveraging his support in Newark, the state's largest city, where he was first elected mayor in 2014, and his arrest could help him do just that. "If we can move a few thousand voters with a moment like this, it's meaningful," said one Jersey Democratic operative granted anonymity to speak candidly about the race. Well, before I conclude this article, I think the races need to be shaken up. It's not time for people to be all dignified and quiet and sit on the sidelines and idly just go along with anything and everything that's happening and going on in the nation. Either you're for what is right or you're for what is wrong. That's it. There's no middle ground at this point in time. You're either for what is right or you're going to stand for what is wrong. The operative noted that the primary winner will not need a large percentage of the vote given how the crowded field will divide support. The person said Baraka's arrest could be a big show to Fulop, as the 2 mayors have been battling for progressive voters. This kind of a genuine values-driven moment is huge for the type of voters that they're going for, the operative said. Each of Baraka's primary opponents condemned the arrest on Friday, calling it outrageous and demanding that he be released. The top two GOP candidates for governor, former Assemblyman Jack Cite and radio host Bill Spada, slammed the arrest as a political stunt on the part of Baraka. Oh, really? You call it a political stunt? Is that what y'all call it? Well, let me ask you a question. All the theatrics that happened during the presidential campaign, what do you think that stuff was? This is the reason why I don't like the Republicans. I don't like their politics. I don't like them, period. Because they want to justify all the evil and the vile and the wrong things they say and do. They want to overlook all the unjust and injustice that's going on in the country. They don't care about their constituency. They don't care about Medicaid and Medicare. They don't care about the price of eggs like they claimed during the primary, during the presidential election. They don't care about the poor and the suffrage of other people. They don't care about people being unjustly arrested and thrown into cages. They don't care that people are losing their jobs by the hundreds of thousands. And make no mistake about it, white people are being just as affected as black people are. And I don't want to hear that garbage about this is what we voted for. No, it's not what you voted for. And you know that's not what you voted for. You can psychosomatically make yourself believe whatever you want. But one thing you need to know is that individuals get sick and tired of the same status quo. Fed up with it. I think somebody said pretty hard words for somebody that used to be a Republican. So what? Who cares? Doesn't matter. You Republicans say and do whatever y'all want to do, and you think people are supposed to kowtow and bow down to y'all. Well, that time is over. That day is over. And for the record, I'm an independent registered voter. I don't belong to either party. Because the Democrats need to get their act together as well as the Republicans need to get their acts together. It's about the American people. It's about the constituents. It's about doing what's right for the good of just doing what's right. It's not about lining the pockets and the coffers and the bank accounts of billionaires who have more than they'll ever spend during their lifetimes. And if you don't think you're going to be adversely affected, you just keep on believing the hype, keep believing the propaganda, and you will be affected. And then you're going to be one of the ones wondering what happened to your 401ks. What happened to your Medicaid? What happened to your Medicare? What happened to your food stamps? What happened to your Section 8? So you got the right black man. I'm not backing down for nobody. We got too many passive black politicians in office now. They won't speak up. You have Representative Jasmine Crockett out on the front line by herself, constantly speaking. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders, Alejandria Cortez. Where are the rest of the voices of dissent within the Democratic Party? Even if you're the minority, open up your mouth and speak. I grew up in a very diverse time, in a very diverse area, when racial segregation and all this kind of stuff was at its zenith. And we still survived as a people. I know what I've come through. And that's why I can see straight through garbage. All this stuff is smoke and mirrors. And this is what Tyrone Bowman Live is. It's an independent voice, unapologetically going forth, trying to help people to stay woke. Don't go back to sleep. I'm on the side of everybody that wants to do good and wants to do right. I don't care if you're black or white. I'll speak up and fight for anybody that's being oppressed, that's being put down, that's being abused and taken advantage of. I'll stand up for the rights of any man or woman to be able to voice his or her opinion, whether I agree with it or not. It doesn't matter whether I agree with it or not. Everybody has the right to voice his or her opinion. That's why I don't censor people who come on this channel. You have the right to speak whatever's on your mind. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have thin skin. It's not going to break me. You know, Harry Truman said, if you can't stand the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen. Quote, close quote. This is a game for men and for women. This is not a game for cowards. And as I said before, if the Trump administration starts doing things that's going to benefit all Americans, I'll report it. I'll talk about it. I'll give the man his credit. If the Democrats start standing up ferociously, I'll give them their credit. So hang around today, y'all, because I have a plethora of stories that I'm going to be talking about. And I think you're going to like the one about prisons when I get to it, because it's raw and unedited, and you'll see. Let me get back to this article. So, the radio host, Bill Spadea, wants to be governor. Spadea, rather, wants to be governor of New Jersey. What credentials does he have? None. I wish it was. Then I wouldn't have to go to court on May 15th, Baraka told Cite's Medea Hassan on Monday afternoon. Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman, a Democrat from New Jersey who sought to enter the detention center along with Representatives LaMonica McLiver and Rob Menendez on Friday, pushed back on the criticism that Baraka's arrest was a stunt. The mayor doesn't do things just for performance. He does the things that he needs to do to protect the people, said Watson-Coleman, who has endorsed Baraka in the primary. Baraka's campaign has been emphasizing his opposition to Delaney Hall, launching ads including one over the weekend that featured footage of the mayor at a protest there earlier this year. Quote, there's only one progressive who Democrats trust, Ross Baraka. A narrator says in the 15-second spot, Ross is the Democrat. We want to fight for working families. Ross is the Democrat we trust to fight for working families, to make the wealthy pay their fair share, to stand up to Musk and Trump. Quote, close quote. The ad comes as other candidates have dominated the airwaves, also making the case that they will take on Trump. Gothenmeyer and his alleged super PAC have spent a combined $18.9 million on ads so far in the race this year, according to the ad tracking from Ad Impact. Fulop and his alleged super PAC have spent a combined $14.3 million, while the pro-Spiller super PAC tied to the New Jersey's Teachers Union has spent $7.8 million. Baraka, Sweeney, and Sherrill and the alleged outside groups have each spent around $2 million. It's not the money, y'all. You can spend all the money you want. If the people don't like you, they're not going to vote for you. If you're not believable, they're not going to vote for you. You don't have to make a bunch of promises. Just let people know that you have empathy for them. You feel what they feel. You identify with what they identify with. You suffer the same things that they suffer. How many families are struggling to keep food on the table? To pay their gas, the electric, their rent. They're just one paycheck away from being homeless. Working 2 and 3 jobs. They're exhausted. By the end of the week, they go from one job to another, from one job to another. And they're so tired that when they do get paid, all that money goes right out to paying bills. And if you have 1, 2, or 3 children, then God knows how much money you have to spend on food, clothing, shelter, after-school activities. If I were a politician, I would win, because I'm a grassroots person. And I know how to connect with everyday people. Think about it for a moment. How many people really do you know that have empathy for everyday people? So while the candidates have pledged to take on Trump, they have also been making the case that they are best positioned to win in November, with the race expected to be competitive. Trump lost New Jersey by 6 percentage points last year. Well, that was 10 points better than his 2020 margin by 10 points, making it the state with its second largest swing toward Trump in the country. The Democratic operative noted that some in the party are concerned that Baraka may be too liberal for New Jersey's more moderate voters who have supported Republicans for governor in the past. Quote, there is certainly a feeling among Democrats that if we do not nominate the right candidate, we are in for a very, very difficult general election, the operative said, noting that the concern is heightened given that Cite could once again be the GOP nominee. Trump endorsed Cite on Monday. Of course he's going to endorse him. Who else would he endorse? And Cite lost a surprisingly close race to current Democratic Governor Phil Murphy by 3 points in 2021. Murphy was barred from running again in 2025 due to term limits. Cite weighed in on Friday on Baraka's arrest, calling it a cheap publicity stunt, blah, 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 in the post on X. I see a whole bunch of cheap publicity stunts going on in the Republican Party. Pandering. Cowards. Afraid to take a stand for those who put them in power. Sit back and watch this race as it unfolds during the primary. We'll find out who's going to be the victor and who's going to take on who in November. It should be an exciting race, believe it or not. It's one I'm looking forward to reporting and talking about. Let's see, political Murphy, Phil Murphy is political dictator, so is Donald Trump. Blue Hornet sounds good, wonderful, too much cronyism going on. That's true. Devil's advocate, me too. Okay. All right, everybody, thank you for your comments. I'm trying to read as many of them as I can, whether you're for me or against me. That don't matter. Let's see, pretty harsh words. I already read that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I'll be right back in a couple seconds with a brand new video. Some pretty hot topics. They're going down. If you haven't subscribed to Tyrone Bowman Live, consider it. Never surrender. Never quit.